The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's webinar from Biscom. We are going to be going over Biscom's new release of our secure file transfer solution, version 5.0. So the webinar is actually going to be fairly short. What I'm going to do is go through a little bit about Biscom, introduce some of the new features, and also for a lot of people who haven't seen this before or haven't seen SFT before, just kind of go through some of the existing features and functionality. And then we're going to jump right into the actual demo. So most of you probably already know Biscom. We're a software company that's focused on secure document delivery solutions, and we're really there to provide solutions that are secure, robust, and scalable for the enterprise. We're very well known for our fax server solution, FaxCom, and that's what started us back in 1986. We launched a SFT, or Managed File Transfer solution, in 2005, now almost 10 years ago. And we actually also introduced this past year a synchronization and sharing solution that basically is a Dropbox for enterprises. So we're excited about that as well. 5.0 is the culmination of a lot of work over the last year, and we've been really excited to introduce this to a lot of people, especially our existing customers. It's a revamped user interface, so it's a lot easier to use. It's visually very pleasing, and we've reduced the number of mouse clicks that are required to do various operations. And I think for a lot of people that's important. We also are supporting HTML5 for uploads, and this is something that we've been working on for a while, and it's really become a required feature these days because of our past applet, our Java applet that we used. While extremely functional, and it had quite a few issues with client support. And if people weren't on the latest version of Java, they would see warning messages. So we moved over to HTML5 as our upload technology. The Java applet is still supported, so you can choose which method you want to use. One thing that comes with HTML5 is the ability to drag and drop files anywhere on the page. I'm going to show that to you when I go through the demonstration. We do have the ability to start uploads immediately. So that means as you drag and drop files onto a delivery, for example, those files immediately start to be uploaded. Previously, we had when you dragged and dropped files onto into the applet, they would sit there and wait for you to finish, and then once you hit submit, then the file upload would start. So you're going to feel that a little bit more a quickness in the application. It's a lot of parallel processing being done. So overall, it should seem speedier. And we've done quite a bit of work on our Workspace, our secure Workspace, where and a lot of this was from feedback from our customers about exactly how we control notifications. So I'll go through that in the demo as well. Just to remind people, and this is kind of a long list, there are actually 3 screens of this, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone, one, realized what we do, especially for new people, and also existing customers who may not remember or realize we have some of these newer features and functionality. I think one of our most popular aspects of the application of the solution is our integration with Outlook, and we've been told that this is one of the most easy to use components or Outlook add-ins that they've seen. And it really provides the ability to add a secure email capability to your normal, typically unsecure Outlook client. It follows exactly the same user interface as an Outlook message would, so it's very easy to use for people who have never used it before. We do have the ability to send both secure and non-secure messages. And what I mean by that is we actually have 2 distinct areas one that when you type in a message to the recipient, it goes over clear text in an email, but there's also an area where you can enter a message like account numbers or passwords or anything that you want to keep confidential, and these got sent to to your recipients, but are only accessible once they authenticate. We also give you the ability to reply to email securely, and you can do this from the web interface. You can also do this actually within Outlook. So, in fact, one of the kind of neat traits about our add-in is if you get a regular email in Outlook and you want to reply, you can actually do that in a secure manner, and it converts that message into a Biscom SFT delivery, and you can upload files and reply with your own secure message, and you actually start a whole new conversation that is outside of email and goes through SFT. We have our a simplified UI and also advanced options for power users. Our secure workspace is something that I think is getting a lot more traction with people, and once they find out about it, we find that there's quite a bit of usage there. We do give you the ability to recall deliveries and also edit them in real time. And this is actually a pretty powerful concept because I don't know if anyone's experienced the regret they feel when they sent an email out and accidentally put in the wrong file or they sent it to the wrong people. With SFT, you can actually go back in and change things. And before someone receives it, they will you can delete files, you can change files, you can change the message that you delivered to them. So, or even just remove recipients or add new ones. So it's very easy to make changes in real time, and people will see those changes immediately. Email notification, very basic of the product, but probably one of the most loved aspects. So now, when someone does open one of your deliveries, you'll get an email back. It lets you know that it was received. It's something some people call guaranteed delivery. And once you send out a delivery, those files are stored into what we call a package, and this can be delivered over and over again. On the administration side and on the back end, we still have the file transfer acceleration that's built into our delivery mechanism. So all your uploads and downloads are being accelerated en route. There is extremely granular configuration that administrators can apply to the entire system and the application, and I'll briefly go through some of that. But that's a whole other probably session around how you configure the application. But I like to think that we give our customers some of the most extensive ability to configure it just so it fits your needs exactly. We do have the option to deploy this in a high availability environment, clustering the various components. This also lets us scale to millions of transactions within very short time periods. We know we have some customers that are doing 1 million file transfers per week, and that has to do partly with the architecture in the back end, our 3-tier architecture. It's customizable, so you can change the logo. The CSS can be updated for a different look and feel, and to have it match your existing corporate look and feel. And also, all text and labels are customizable. And again, I think this is one of our a unique feature among all the other SFT players out there. You can really make it your own and use your own terminology in everything that's displayed in the application. We do quite a bit of integration with other applications and technologies, and also offer our own automation components. AD and LDAP are probably the most used piece of integration. So and most companies do support or have a directory service like this running. So you can use this as for authentication as well as authorization, which means setting roles among your users. And it follows your AD strategy. If you're changing passwords, if you are changing roles, you can do that in a single location, in a central location, and that gets distributed immediately in, again, real time to our application. SharePoint is something that we've integrated with, so now you can deliver anything within SharePoint securely. I mentioned Outlook already. We also have quite a few people who use our Worksite integration that's formerly known as Autonomy or iManage. Our mobile apps on iOS and Android are extremely popular, giving you the ability to view files and deliver files directly from your mobile device. And our automation utilities, AutoPost and AutoFetch, essentially create this a system or environment where you can simply have folders that you're watching and have them and files that are dropped into them are automatically uploaded through SFT and delivered based on either programmatic recipients or something or that you drop in at the time of delivery. AutoFetch is just the corollary, the opposite here, where you can actually download files or receive deliveries automatically, and they get sent into a folder that you specify. And when you combine these two components, it creates what some people use as a machine-to-machine file transfer system that's automated, and there's no human interaction that's required. One thing I will mention for people who are interested in integrating with their existing applications, if they want to extend a legacy application, we do have RESTful APIs and an SDK kit, so people can do that integration pretty easily. And we've helped many people build their own application or extend what they already have, so that they give an old application new capabilities to send files securely. Okay, so I did go through that very quickly, but I wanted to get to the demo. So let me just bring up my browser. I'm not going to show you the Outlook integration and some of the other aspects. I really want to focus on the web interface, because that's really what we've changed quite a bit in 5.0. We've maintained the login page. This is customizable. A lot of people will take this and change it to fit their needs, add new text in here, or change the colors around to match their application. And here I'm just going to sign in with my username and password. And immediately you'll see that instead of going to our old main menu, we have a new first page or main page. And the menu, you'll notice, is on the left side. So all of the main functionality is accessible here on the left nav, and this is always accessible, so it's never going away. And in fact, so one of the things that we can do is quickly go from one feature to the next without having to go back, like in the old application, to a main menu and then drilling down to what you wanted to do. So here, that's one of the ways we're saving some steps. Also, when you first log in, you go immediately to your received deliveries, and I can quickly see the deliveries that I've received, the things that are not open. I can quickly hover and look at the attachments that I received. If I want to go and actually do a delivery, I'll go to Express Delivery. And we do have the option, I mentioned this before, of having kind of an easy UI and something that power users will want to see. This can be set through your profile and in your preferences. I choose to show all the options because there are definitely some times where I want to make changes here on the fly. But if you have users who really just want the simplest user interface, want it to look just like they're sending the email, then you do have that capability. So I'm going to enter some recipients. If they're already in my contacts, they're going to auto-complete. New users who I haven't sent to will actually be added to my contacts if we want to. I took a bunch of screenshots, which I saved just in case the demo didn't go smoothly. And luckily, I think the demo gods are in my favor right now. So I'm going to actually take a bunch of these documents. My secure message, I often use this as my example. And that's absolutely something I would not want to have go through plain text email. So I'll put that in my secure message. My notification message is what does go through email. So I'm only going to provide a very simple message. Nothing confidential in here. And on the right side, these are my options. I can set an availability date. I can define a date when they expire. You'll see some of these already filled in. That means they've been, that's a default that's been defined by the system administrator. And you can obviously keep those blank so that there are no expiration or deletion dates. I can add a secondary password, which means not only does the recipient have to authenticate using their username and password, but they have to enter a password that I've created as a sender that they need to know. And I'll probably either call them or even send them a separate email, but typically there's a second form of communication where I need to convey that information. And that just gives additional protection so that even if someone breaks into their account and they try to open this delivery, it's something that is not, they do require a second piece of authentication information. The defaults here I'm going to leave. This is just helps me define the notification options. Obviously I want to send an email to all the recipients. I do want them to sign in automatically. I can uncheck this here, and what that would do is actually create a public link, and so it wouldn't matter who actually clicked that link; they would be able to get into this delivery. And I do like to get notified. Really just the first time they open this. I don't care if they open it many times. I just want to make sure that they did get it. And I also like seeing when they downloaded a file. Oh, I got to add the files. So here's the thing I love about 5.0. And so I have a bunch of files here. I'm just going to take a bunch. I'm going to drag them and drop them. Let me actually make it a little easier to see. I'm going to drag and drop my files on here. And you'll see they're popping up here. We do have a new upload progress screen, which will show in real time the files being uploaded. As I mentioned, it's not waiting for me to select them and then hit a submit button for them to be uploaded. It's automatically uploading to the system as I'm doing it. I can also add additional ones. So if I'm going to go in and find another few files to add on, drop it on. They're getting added as we speak. And now I have quite a few files here I'm trying to deliver out. Okay, so I'll send that out. It's going to send it out. Delivery's been created. It should show up both in my email and also right in my received deliveries. So that's one of the new aspects of SFT is this new delivery screen. We had to actually change our old system a bit, and some of you older customers will probably remember that we had the ability to add files and deliver this message out in a single step, but we had to make changes because of some Java client issues, and that made it a little bit harder to use. This brings back the idea of being able to, in one screen, enter all your recipient information, all your delivery options, and the files at once and send them out. So one thing that happens in the back end after I create a delivery is I can now see the packages, or a package is created that contains all the files I just uploaded. So if I come into the package I just created, you can see that 27 attachments here. I can quickly review what I sent. I can also go back. I can go into this package and look at some of the details here, the files, of course, and all the deliveries that are associated with it. So an express delivery actually combines two steps. One is the upload of the files, which creates what we call a package, and then the second step is delivering that, or giving it access to certain individuals. So that express delivery essentially combines those two steps. But if I wanted to now take this and deliver it to a new person, I can do that right away. But one other thing I want to show very quickly is, which is a little bit different from before, is now if I have, I'll bring the files over here a little bit. If I just wanted to drop right onto this package screen, those files get added to the package at the end. This is quite a bit different than before, where you had to click on a link that said add more files. You go to another page where you uploaded your files and you submitted them. So this makes, again, much more easy, saves you a bunch of clicks, and at the same time, because I changed this package and added new files, if I go into my received deliveries and I actually looked, there would be an update to all of the files here. So the package is something that is, or the recipients actually see exactly what's in the package in real time. It's not a static package. It's dynamic, and so anytime someone adds or deletes files from that package, the recipient, once they try to go into it, they see exactly what's in there at that very moment. So I'm going to go and look at the Secure Workspace features. This is something we added to the solution a few years back, and we got a lot of interest from our user base that said, yeah, we love sending files, one way essentially to people, and maybe getting a response back, a reply back with files. But we really are looking for something that lets us share with several users, sends out notifications to people whenever there are changes. And so we ended up creating this functionality called Secure Workspace. So if I want to create a new workspace, and we call it screenshots, I can create these, create a space that gives me the ability to assign myself as the owner, and then assign different collaborators or managers here. In this case, let me add one as a manager who can change files, a collaborator, or who can manage this workspace, collaborators who can add and upload and download files, and also if I had a read-only, people who I don't want them to actually upload files, but I do want them to see everything that happens. They can be viewers. We do have notifications for the various types of activity that happens. So when I upload a new file, when a file folder is updated, a comment is added, or something is deleted, an email gets automatically delivered to every recipient here. You can see there are more things I can do here. One thing we want to be conscious of is the fact that you could be inundated with email notifications on every little thing that happened. So maybe you don't care about whether someone downloaded a file, or you don't care if the user was added or removed from the space. You really care about the bigger or larger actions that happen. And so this is simply the default ones. If I did want to send an email notification that someone pulled out of the workspace on their own, then I can add that. So I'm going to go back into my screenshots, pictures, in our folder. And I'll drag and drop right onto the page, and those all got uploaded. So now my workspace is created. I'm on the workspace details page, and this has a couple different sections I can see. One is the file system, so all the files that I've just uploaded. I can also add more files. I should show you this capability, so if you're not dragging and dropping, you can use the system dialog to open up and find new files to add. Right, you can see they're being added right now. And on the right, I can see workspace details. So a description and tag which I didn't enter here. I can see who are managers here, collaborators, viewers, and also a little bit of metadata on when it was created and last updated. Workspace activity is a running log of all the transactions that have occurred within the system. And I can also add a comment. So if I wanted to create a comment that pertained to a particular file, for example, or to the workspace, I can add it here. And people will be able to see all the comments that people have entered and who entered them. One thing I really like in the workspace is I can create folders. And then I can take a file or files and drag them right into that folder. I can drag them also into the left folder list. And if I go into the subfolder, I can see the files that are part of that, and then navigate through. So this is nice from a workspace perspective because I can organize my files. So one thing I can do here, and again, this is a piece that we've changed and updated quite a bit, is change the notification settings. Again, feedback from our existing user base had basically said to us that people were concerned about getting so many notifications, and so we wanted the ability to actually go in and change things for people. They could obviously do it themselves. They can change their own settings, but we can also go in and change settings for all users. So maybe I don't want to show a couple of these, and I do want to push this out to all the new users, and so I could change that. I can also go into a specific user within the workspace. So for Charlie, this is his default, and I can change that. We can update that, and now this Brian is going to see workspace details. When they're updated, he'll get an email notification, but no one else will. And I think what happens, for the most part, people are, again, complain that they're getting too many email notifications, so they actually would say, hey, can you take me off this list? And if they did that, then that would make a lot of, the manager of the workspace can actually go and do that for them. Okay. Contacts is not changed other than the overall UI. We do have all the reports that I think are useful to people based on your role. So people who can send deliveries out and receive them, well, really just send them out, have the ability to see, okay, what did I send out, and what is the status of this? So the delivery I just sent, we actually look at an older one, and I can see some of the transactions that have occurred. And the transaction activity includes the date and timestamp, what actually happened, so the document was downloaded, the IP address that this occurred on, and also what type of client, web or mobile, or another third party, for example, system would show up here. And one thing I really like is the ability to filter this out. So if I just, that's not a good one to look at because it's all here. I wanted to look at just XLS files, I can filter that down to just show me XLS files that are being used. I think I don't have PDFs and some Word docs. But basically, it will search through all of the transactions and only display the relevant ones that I care about. Another useful report that I end up using quite a bit is the user activity report. And this is when I want to drill down to a specific user and see exactly what they've done. So this is, again, very comprehensive. And you can see I have 149 transactions here, and I just started using this yesterday. So very granular in terms of what we're capturing. And everything is basically stored in our database. And our reports are simply the querying and slicing and dicing of all the data that we collect. Another couple interesting reports, and these are really more for the system administrator, is a system activity report. And this is comprehensive across all the users and all the transactions in the system. I can clear filters. I can set a date range. I can clear them so I can see everything that's happened. So it's all searchable. So now it shows me just the PDF, anything that had a PDF in there. These filters really help me winnow down exactly the range that I want and the specific transaction I'm looking for. And I can also export this to a CSV file. So if I wanted to take this into Excel or export it for an auditor, that's what this capability is for. Compliance is a really powerful concept and role that you can provide to people. Not everyone uses this, and in fact, it's an optional feature that you can turn on and off. But if you do have a user or a specific compliance person or people who want to be able to go in and see exactly what people are doing, what files they're transferring, and actually see the files, then you can do that through a compliance view. So no matter who's in the system, if I wanted to take a look at their actual files, for example, I can look at this presentation. This is actually a bad example because I am I was looking at my own. But if I want to look in here, I can see Charlie, for example, uploaded this document, and I can download that and view it. For certain regulated industries, clearly this is an important piece of it. We do recommend having multiple compliance users because what I do here is actually not visible to the users of the system. So if I'm going in and looking at Charlie's package and downloading his files, he doesn't see that in his own reports. So it's hidden from him, but another compliance user would be able to see that transaction. So that when we do have it turned on, or when customers do turn on, we do recommend having a couple, 2 or 3 or more compliance officers who can basically make sure that that one person isn't just going in and looking at everyone's files without a good reason. Managing users is extremely simple here. It's I can go in, I can go into my own account, I can see exactly the information on the user and particularly what roles that user has. And I can easily go and change this. I can also look at reset the user password, which is probably one of the most often used features here, and look at their activity and get a quick snapshot of what they've done. So how many packages they own, how many files they've uploaded, how much storage they're using up, and some other stats on the deliveries I've sent and received. So this also means that this is what we call a local user. If we were tied to AD, in this particular instance of our server is not, this would actually not be, I would not be able to change the user roles, for example, here, or the password. That would be done centrally through Active Directory or your LDAP server, and that would flow directly in here. So that, in that regard, this is, you wouldn't be able to change a lot. You would still be able to see, for example, activity and what that person has done. Server administration page is great because I can quickly see the build I'm on, or the exact version, the build, how many users I have, and who's on the system. 14 total users, 12 are active, 2 are pending, the types of roles that are sent out. And I think you all remember that obviously we're licensed on the number of senders. You can have unlimited recipients, unlimited administrators, et cetera. Server configuration, I'm not going to dive into this too much, but it does have an updated interface, a little bit easier to view. I can go into any of these and look at it. Packages settings are one of my favorites because there are a lot of cool things you can do around who can upload, what they can upload, if you want to insert any kind of inclusion or exclusion restrictions. This is where you do that. And just for completeness, I'll go through just the last two. We do have several processes running in the background. This is where you would start and stop them. And a system monitor system activity, which is a screen that you can leave up and running, and this will refresh on an interval that you determine, and it just shows you everything that's happening within the system. So you can see, you can just leave this up and running in your in the corner of your monitor, and watch it in case something you care about pops up. Oh, one last thing, user preferences. This is where I would go in. We've had this before, so nothing really new here, but it is a nice way for me as an end user to go and decide, how do I want to see my deliveries? How do I want to sort them? Do I want to have a certain number of listings per page? And then some of the other delivery options. This helps me, if I'm again a power user, I can come in here and change it to change the options so that they always follow the ones that I care about. And maybe they're not the defaults that are determined, but the ones that I would use on a more regular basis. And any exceptions I would then change from here on the actual delivery. So that's the application. We really are happy to have this out there. We know some of you already have it installed and upgraded. Would love to take a few questions if there are any. If not, that's fine too. You can give us a call. Looks like I do have a few. Wow, actually lots of questions. Okay, is one platform between Java and HTML5 preferred over others for speed? Not really. I think we both have the same acceleration built into both the Java applet and the HTML5 component. The only thing I would say that might be a little bit faster was really just the fact that once I dropped a file onto the page, it started to upload immediately. It didn't wait for me to finish selecting files. So yeah, I think that makes it a little bit faster. So will user settings notifications override system settings such as package expiration and notification message? So that's actually, let me just sign back in. So you can make changes like expiration, and administrators actually have the ability to, I think, allow whether or not you can change them. But that's something that is actually, they can change the auto deletion date, and some users can't make that change. But the actual message is set, the notification message or the secure message default message is set by the administrator, and that's global to all users. Is HTML5 supported in the current versions of all browsers? Now, that's a really good question, and something actually that comes out quite a bit. All modern browsers have some support for HTML5, and there are varying levels of support. Clearly, there are lots of browser versions out there. IE is something that we always see as each version they have has a different level of support. But HTML5 has I think, just recently kind of been finalized. So I think we're going to see a lot more support from all the browsers. But these days, I think the browser upgrades are a lot easier to do than Java, especially for end users. So yeah, we've tested a bunch of browsers. We QA, definitely the last several years of browsers. But you do want to, if you're on a fairly old browser, you can revert back to. You can also just do simple HTTP uploads that don't require HTML5 or Java support. Oh, can you drag and drop folders? Yes, you can. I didn't show that, but you can absolutely drag and drop folders. Although there is a caveat, not all browsers support that. So Chrome, for example, is one of the browsers that supports folder upload, and I believe Firefox as well. But I think IE does not do that. So it'll depend on what browser you have. I'm a Chrome user, so I've always just used it and have been, had support for it. But if you're not, so if you do want folder support, maybe that's something you want to think about switching to a browser that does support it. Okay, there are a few more questions. I'm going to go through a couple more. There are lots more in here in the queue. We'd love to chat with you and talk to you. Please send us an email or call us, and you can reach someone who can help you directly and also probably answer a lot of your other questions. But let me just answer just one or two more here. What is the recommended version of Java for this release? Well, I guess that depends what you're asking, if it's the back-end Java or the client Java. But Java 7 is what we use in the back end, and on the front end, it's basically we always tell. On the client side, we just basically tell people just keep it up to the latest version of Java as you can. That's our recommendation. Not everyone can do that all the time, and sometimes there are systems that are locked down that prevent it. But you'll typically get the best functionality and reliability with the latest version of Java on the client. What is the price for the service? That's something you'll definitely have to call us. And it depends on your usage and what options that you're looking for. But we think it's very well priced and a lot of value for people who need this capability. Someone clarified the client side is what they meant. So yes, that was the question about Java. So it's again, this is one of those things that is often hard to answer only because there's so many versions of Java that Oracle is releasing, and we know we've gone through a lot of periods of where a new version has broken some of the old stuff and affected not just us but a lot of people. So we typically just tell people if you're on the latest, it's more than most of the time you're safe, but a couple versions back are probably okay as well. Okay, so thank you. I know I ran a little over. It's been 45 minutes. Appreciate your time, and if you want to dive into something a little bit more in depth, we're here to help you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.